Lee, welcome to about that. Welcome to another episode of Inside Sports with Rashad Mitchell, episode number 74, 74th episode. Let's get into it, man. Got a lot to cover. NFL, college football, Major League Baseball. Got the Bulls all in attack. It's going to start tomorrow between the Dodgers and the Blue Jays. Not going to talk about the NBA that much at all. I'll wait till next week about that. I know it's early. It started this week, but I'm not going to get to the NBA. But I'm going to cover college football, NFL, Major League Baseball, World Series preview, Dodgers and Blue Jays. Then get into the 1970 merger of the NFL with the AFL. That was a great season, most important season in pro football history. Is the AFL NFL merger. It's a brand new NFL at that time in 1970. A lot of things took place during that season over the 55th anniversary of the merger, 1970. And then on this day in sports history, for October 23rd. So let's get into the college football landscape of things. You had an upset, man. The upset of the week. Number 2, Miami lost Louisville 24-21. Give credit to Louisville, man. Louisville, Miami always played some close games. They did that last year. The year before that, Miami had a 10-game winning streak at home. The last team to beat them at home was Louisville. They won 38-31. Then Miami went on a 10-game home winning streak, and it was snapped again. Snapped and lost to Louisville. Louisville got it done, and they was able to get it done last Friday, 24-21. They were a better team. 14-0. They jumped out to that Jeff Brown coach. He knows how to be a great caller as far as making plays. Great play caller, putting teams in situations on offense to make plays. Chris Bell was a catalyst. Miller Moss played well. They couldn't stop the run. So Miami just was out of sync. They came back, but they should have lost by double digits even further because a lot of mistakes was made by Miami. Penalties, turning the ball over. Beck had his worst game as a Hurricane quarterback. He threw four interceptions, so he was not on his A game. Malcolm Tony played well, but you know they didn't run the ball particularly well. They were awful. So offensively, they didn't do enough to win this game. Malachi Tony may be the best freshman receiver in college football right now, but he was outdone by this dude Chris Bell out of Louisville, senior. Had 9 catches for 136 yards, 2 touchdowns. Definitely could be an NFL player right now. He definitely, gonna upstage, upgrade his profile as an NFL player, as a wide receiver, elite wide receiver. Also, I don't know what he's gonna do in the draft, but he definitely showed out against Miami defense. Showed out against the number 2 team in the country. Brown had 113 yards. Just Moss had 24 yards. They deserve to win. When you throw ball interception, you're not gonna win that game. They were fortunate to get back into this game with that fumble that was forced, and they was able to score, cut into the lead. But the bottom line is the better team won, and that was Louisville. They were better, and now Miami has to, there's no room for error. They have to really run the table if they want to get into that ACC championship game. They fell to number 9 in the country, so they got Stanford this week. So, and also Louisville could be a problem in this conference. They 5-1 right now, and then including they 2-1 in the conference. So Miami can't stub their toe. They gotta really buckle down and go 6-0 the rest of the way. Because once you go into November, saying everything gets more serious. You cannot lose, especially if you got a loss or two. So you cannot take an L. But that's all I want to start with that. Also, Nebraska got upset by Minnesota 24-6. And what's the Saturday slate of games? Texas A&M had to win a close one against Arkansas 45-42. The game of the day lived up to the hype. Georgia won over Ole Miss 43-35. Number 9 beating number 5. Alabama keeps on winning big games. They won on Saturday night, 37-20 over Tennessee. Upset Arizona State, upset number 7 Texas Tech, and Vanderbilt beat LSU 31-24. Notre Dame keeps it rolling. They won 34-24 over the arch rival USC. BYU beat Utah 24-21. The Virginia continues their winning ways. They won 22-20. And UAB, they upset Memphis 31-24. Let's just move forward to this weekend slate of games. The games that stands out. Again, once you get into like late October into November, it's the final Saturday in October. So once you get into that November month, things get more serious. You cannot lose. You gotta stay on your P's and Q's and not get picked off. So look at some of the games to keep your eyes on. Could be upset alert. Maybe UCLA, Indiana. Indiana's number 2 in the country, 7-0. They play home against UCLA at home. Syracuse could possibly upset Georgia Tech. Possibly, we'll see. Ole Miss, number 18 in the country, plays number 13 Oklahoma. That's a good game. South Florida, number 18 team in the country, plays at Memphis. Both teams are 6-1. Missouri plays Vanderbilt. Both teams are 6-1. That's a good game. BYU 7-0 plays at Iowa State 5-2. Washington 5-2 plays at home against Illinois, number 23 team in the country. Baylor versus Cincinnati, they rank number 21 in the country. Texas versus Mississippi State. Both teams got winning records 4-3. Texas 5-2. Miami looking to bounce back from the upset. They play Stanford at 7:00 p.m. This is a very interesting game. This is a watershed, crossroads kind of game for LSU Tigers. They lost last week, obviously, to Vanderbilt. Now they come home and face number 3 Texas A&M was undefeated. So see if they can be an upset alert in that situation. Houston plays on the road against number 24 Arizona State. So I think deep down, I think Indiana handled their business. I think Georgia Tech will win. I got Oklahoma against Ole Miss. Got them win that game. I'm going with Vanderbilt to beat Missouri. I got Miami bouncing back. Yeah, Stanford. I'm going with the upset. I'm going with LSU upsets Texas A&M. Let's move forward to the NFL. Now we got currently got an NFL game going on to start week 8. Minnesota and the Chargers, the Vikings and the Chargers. Right now it's scoreless with 11:40 to go. The Chargers got the ball at their own 14-yard line. Let's look back at last week's games, week 7. Now we in week 8. How about the Bengals, man? They beat the Steelers last week 33-31, despite the great performance by Aaron Rodgers. It wasn't good enough. This defense was the letdown. They were the culprit. They couldn't stop Joe Flacco. He turned back the clock. He put 342 yards, 3 touchdowns. They ran for 108 yards with Brown. But Jamar Chase was the catalyst at wide receiver, 16 catches, 161 yards, and a touchdown. And Rodgers played great, threw 4 touchdowns, but they still lost. So this Pittsburgh Steelers defense just not getting it done right now. They lost 33-31 last Thursday. Then Rams, they played in London, in the London games against the Jaguars. They won 35-7. 5 touchdown passes by Matthew Stafford for the Rams. So Rams look good right now. The Bears improved to 4-2. They beat the Saints, the lowly Saints, for 26-14. They're 4-2. The Bears. Patriots keep winning. They go 5-2. They won 31-13. I think they're in first place. Chiefs beat the Raiders 31-0. The Eagles got back on track, beat the Vikings 28-22. Panthers beat the Jets 13-6. The Colts have the best record. I think they got the best record in the league, 38-24. Packers beat the Cardinals 27-23. 49ers won 20-10. Lions won a big game against the Buccaneers, holding them to uh, 9 points, 24-9. And the Seahawks beat the Texans 27-19. But the game of the day that hadn't been as being the case was the Giants and the Broncos. The Giants had a 13-0 lead, 19-8 lead, 26-8 lead, 19-0 lead, and still lost the game. And also in the process, they wasn't able to have extra points being made by the kicker. So the Broncos rallied after being shut out in 3 quarters, rallied with 33 points in the fourth and one of the most stunning turnarounds in NFL history. Will Lutz had made a 39-yard field goal to win 33-32. And the 33 fourth quarter points that the Broncos scored, the most in NFL history by any team that was shut out for the first 3 quarters. And Bo Nix, the quarterback of the Broncos, became the first player ever to run for 2 scores and throw for 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. And the Broncos' improbable comeback snapped a streak in which NFL teams, which had a 1,602 consecutive games, were leading by 18 points in the final 6 minutes of the game, and still lose. I'm saying this is crazy. So how do Giants come back from this? They play the Eagles this coming Sunday. See what happens. How they psyche gets better. It's the fourth consecutive win for the Broncos and the NFL best 8th straight at home. All right, let's look into week 8 games. Dolphins and Falcons. That's not a good game. Justin Bengals not a good game. And the Patriots can definitely make some separation at this division. They're already 5-2. They're a game up over the Buffalo Bills. So they can go chance to go 6-2. They play the Browns. Right, Giants and the Eagles. See how the Giants bounce back. That's all I need to say about that. The Bills and the Panthers is a good game because the Panthers are 4-3. And they host the Bills, who are 4-2. So that's gonna be a very interesting game. The Bears and the Ravens. Can the Bears go 5-2? Or can the Ravens get it together? Who knows if Lamar Jackson's playing this week? The 49ers and the Texans. Texans has been, terrible so far this year. Very disappointing, very underachieving team. The Broncos and the Cowboys is a good game. Best game could be the Packers and the Steelers. Aaron Rodgers going against his former team. So we'll see what happens. As far as predictions, I think the Patriots beat the Browns. I think the Bills beat the Panthers. I think I'm going with the Texans to beat the 49ers. This is a must win for the Texans. So I'm going with the Texans over the 49ers. Buccaneers over the Saints. I'm going with the Cowboys over the Broncos. I got the Steelers beating the Packers. Also, on Monday night, you got the Commanders and the Chiefs. That's it for that. Let's get into the World Series preview. Blue Jays and the Dodgers. Let's get into that. Let's get into the World Series preview. Blue Jays and the Dodgers. Start tomorrow. Their matchup. Very interesting matchup. Both teams never played each other in the World Series before, so this matchup is very unique. So I'm going with the Dodgers to win the series in six. Give credit to Toronto. They won in 7 games. They came back from a deficit. They trailed down 0-2, 3-2, and came back and won the series. So give them credit. But I think they're facing a juggernaut in the Dodgers. They haven't lost that many games. I think they only lost 1 game in the playoffs so far. I think that was to the Phillies. So they're a juggernaut. Yes, Toronto has home field advantage, but this is going to be a very interesting matchup. Um, this is the third time that the Toronto has gone to the World Series. Go back to 1993. They won in '92. They won back to back. So it's been a long time coming. The Dodgers hold the all-time edge, 19-11. The franchise did not meet until June 18th, 2002, obviously due to interleague. So keep your eyes on Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Obviously, he's a big-time hitter. George Springer hit a big-time home run in that Game 7 the other night. He could be an X factor because of experience. But the Dodgers got no Otani. They got Freeman. They got Betts. They got so many talented players on that team that can hurt you. The depth of that lineup definitely be a factor. So I'm going with the Dodgers to win in six. And it's been a long time since the team won back-to-back championships. You got to go back to the 2000 Yankees. That's the last team to win, consecutive championships. They had, going through a period of a three-peat at that time. So that's who I'm going with in this matchup. Getting correct to the Blue Jays, they won 7 games. Springer did his thing, hitting the 3-run homer in the bottom of the 7th, to left center. But I think they're gonna fall short and lose to the Dodgers. I think they're a dynasty in the making. They're just hot team right now. They're doing their thing, so you can't take away what they're doing. So I'm going with the Dodgers. Unfortunately for Seattle, they're the only major league club without a pennant. They had plenty of chances in the series. You know, Toronto became the fourth. It actually became the fourth team to lose the first 2 games in the best-of-7 postseason series at home and rebound to win. Only the 1985 Kansas City Royals, the 1986 New York Mets, in 1996, New York Yankees all in the World Series. So congrats to Ron for coming back. They came back from a lot of deficits in the series. And he was able to win it. But I got the Dodgers winning the series um, against Toronto. I think they're a better team. It's Dodgers in six. All right, so let's get into the 1970 merger. It's the 55th anniversary of that situation. AFL NFL merger. It's a very important moment in sports because the merger was announced on June 8th, 1966, but the leagues continued to operate separately for four more seasons. So the official merger took place before the 1970 season. So the 1970 season, that's when things really changed. You had the new NFL, basically. You had a situation where you had two conferences, AFC and NFC. A lot changed, with that. It was all one league. AFL teams that began to join the NFL, like the Miami Dolphins and the Colts. Excuse me, not the Colts. Kansas City Chiefs, teams like that. And AFL teams joined the league, including like the NFL teams and stuff like that. So there's a lot of realignment that took place at that time. So the Super Bowl champions would be featured from the AFC and the NFC, stuff like that. You had the wild card and stuff like that. So there's a lot that changed pro football. It was the most important season ever was the 1970 season because it brought a lot. Monday Night Football, he made his debut. What I'm saying? You had a lot of changes being made during that time, 1970 season. That season is the most important season ever because the merger. A lot of new things was happening. It's the 54th, excuse me, 51st regular season in the NFL. There's the consummation of the AFL NFL merger, the realignment with all 10 of the American Football League teams joined the Baltimore Colts, Cleveland Browns, and Pittsburgh Steelers to form the AFL, the AFC, the American Football Conference, and 13 NFL clubs formed the National Football Conference. So there's a lot of change. Also, Baltimore won the Super Bowl against the Dallas Cowboys in Super Bowl five. They won that Super Bowl on this January 17th at the Orange Bowl in Miami. So there's a lot that made a difference in that era. Yeah, the NFL teams in the AFC East, you had the Baltimore Colts, Boston Patriots, Buffalo Bills, Miami Dolphins, New York Jets. Central Division in AFC had Cincinnati Bengals, Cleveland Browns, Houston Oilers, Pittsburgh Steelers. In the West, in the AFC West, had Denver Broncos, Kansas City Chiefs, Oakland Raiders, and San Diego Chargers. NFC East, you had the Dallas Cowboys, New York Giants, Philadelphia Eagles, St. Louis Cardinals, and Washington Redskins. NFC Central was Chicago Bears, Detroit Lions, Green Bay Packers, Minnesota Vikings. The West had Atlanta Falcons, Los Angeles Rams, New Orleans Saints, San Francisco Giants, San Francisco 49ers. So that was the realignment with the division that was going on at that time. The format had an 18 playoff format, four from each conference, three division winners, and a wild card team, the second place team with the best record. So there's a lot that happened. It's a definitely watershed moment. Again, Monday Night Football made his debut, stuff like that. CBS did the NFC teams, and NBC did the AFC teams. So it all started in 1970. On the pay homages that happened 55 years ago, the merger coming into effect in 1970. Let's get into Honest Day in sports history for October 23rd. I'll go over everything. I'm going to go over some moments. Right, 1886 World Championship Baseball Series, the Sportsman Park, St. Louis Browns edged the Chicago White Stockings 4-3 in 10 innings in Game 6 to take the series 4-2. 1920, the Chicago grand jury indicts Abe Attell, Hal Chase, and Bill Burns and go-betweens as go-betweens in Black Sox 1919 World Series baseball scandal. Babe Ruth, the legendary slugger of the Yankees, made his postseason exhibition appearance in a rival Giants uniform as New York beats Baltimore Orioles 9-0 in the benefit game for former Giants owner John Day. Jackie Robinson, 1945 on October 23rd, signed a contract with Montreal Expos, Montreal Royals. That was a minor league farm team of Brooklyn Dodgers. 1955, October 23rd, the McGinn Professional Baseball League moves to winter play for the first time. Yogi Berra was named manager 1963 on October 23rd, replacing Rob Hart, who becomes the team's general manager. October 23rd, Chicago Cubs in 1974 traded six-time Major League Baseball All-Star outfielder Billy Williams to Oakland A's for second baseman Manny Trillo, two drivers, and two pitchers. 1984, Rick Sutcliffe of Chicago Cubs was selected as a unanimous choice as the National League Cy Young. 1993, defending champions Toronto Blue Jays beat the Philadelphia Phillies 8-6 at the Sky Dome on October 23rd in Toronto to finish the series 4-2. MVP was Blue Jays infielder Paul Molitor. 1996, October 23rd, New York Yankees set a record recovering from 0-6 down 6-0 in Baseball World Series game to beat the Braves 8-6 in Game 4 at Fulton County Stadium. Record 7 straight postseason road win. On October 23rd, 2025 years ago, the Monday Night Miracle occurred where the New York Jets were down 30-7 at the end of the third quarter. New York Jets put together an improbable comeback with 4 touchdowns and a field goal fourth quarter, eventually defeating the Miami Dolphins 40-37 in overtime. 2019 NBA record was set by Kyrie Irving, All-Star point guard. He scored 50 points, setting a new NBA record for points on debut. New team as Brooklyn Nets go down 127-126 at home to the Minnesota Timberwolves. So that's it. What took place on this day, October 23rd, on this day in sports history. Be on the lookout for the latest article on e52asports.com. Got the article up there. Did a lot of stuff on this in this latest article. I wrote about the 1985 Chicago Bears, 1975 World Series between the Red Sox and the Reds, Game 6 and Game 7. Also, I did a piece on Muhammad Ali and Frazier when they fought in the Thriller Manila on October 1st, 1975. That was 50 years ago. Check out that article. And also the NBA preview. I did a season preview of the NBA. So keep your eyes on that. So that's it for tonight. Appreciate your time for Inside Sports with Rashad Mitchell, episode number 74. I'll be back next week for the final episode number 75. Inside Sports with Rashad Mitchell, episode number 75. Include the month of October for October 30th. So this month's going by fast. It's going to give you great content. Streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter on elevation5280sports.com, elevation5280sports.com, and elevation5280 Sports and Lifestyles. Presents Inside Sports with Rashad Mitchell every single Thursday night from 8 o'clock, maybe to 9 o'clock, something like that. Before that, may come on 8:30. It depends on what time. Between 8 and 9 is going to be coming on, so how long it lasts. But thank you for your time. Be back next week for episode number 75. Until then, have a good night.